We're back with more guitars from our favorite builder over in the UK. We have some new Patrick James Eggle guitars to show you, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for custom swag. And hey, check out our podcast. It's called the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts. And we actually did record a new episode. So you've got that to look forward to. And bonus, we're doing it as an audio and a video podcast now going forward. So you can check it on your favorite podcast medium, but you can also find it here on our YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. We're excited to have some of these great guitars from Patrick James Eggle. We've shown you a number of models from him, and we kind of alluded to these in some of those previous videos. We have the more vintage bolt-on variety from those cats in the UK, and they're very, very awesome.
Yeah, these are the most familiar looking probably that we've shown you. Some of those makings, yes, were pretty Les Paul-esque, but even then there was a lot that differentiated.
Stuff, yeah.
These are very familiar to us because we got an S style and a T style, but of course, since they're Eggle guitars, there's a lot of things that set them apart, and they're very, very nice.
Absolutely. So if you're not familiar with kind of what's going on, as we've discussed in the past with the naming convention, the S-style bodies are the 96 model, and there's a few variety of that. We've previously shown you two different kind of drop-top versions of those. So this is the vintage style S-body, the 96, and then the T-style bodies are called the Oz, or I guess if you're a Brit, it's the OZ. Let me know. So this is the Oz, and again, this is the vintage model. We've also shown you drop tops, and there's carved top versions on this as well. But yeah, these are, like you said, the most familiar kind of to the classic versions of these guitars that were originally made back in the 50s. The execution on these, as always, is awesome. It's the little touches, like you say.
Awesome.
Awesome for sure. And just confession right here, I'm already scheming how I can make this one mine.
Yeah, I mean, Chris has been on the hunt for a telly for a long time. He got a very nice one, and of course now he plays this one. It's like,
I'm like,
maybe I need a different telly. So yeah, that one's just good looking. And so tell us about it, and then I'll tell you kind of just visually why I love it so much. But go for it. Yeah.
So here are the specs on this. It's very light, a swamp ash body. It's two-piece. Finished in this transparent blonde finish, which really accentuates this, grain from the swamp ash, which is awesome. I like one of these things that he's been doing on these guitars, which is this tortoiseshell pickguard. It's very different from a lot of the pickguards I've seen. There's a thickness to it. There's a certain quality. The sides are really nicely beveled and polished.
I love like the thick one-ply look.
It's so cool. Good, yeah.
Because it's also not going to bow up on you
right.
Like a thin classic.
Kind of the classic black plastic one will, yeah. No, this is killer. All of the hardware is kind of aged hardware. This is a low-profile Goto bridge with aged compensating brass saddles. And, before we shot, I forget who it was. It may have been Josh or someone was looking at this going, how do they make brass just look so premium? And of course, they're compensated, and there's a thickness to them that's really awesome. All of the hardware here with their own knobs and the plate, it's all got some aging to it, but the body is not, which is an interesting. And I remember that was kind of a call from Patrick when I sent in the initial order. He's like, hey, what do you think of this? I was like, yeah. Absolutely. Like we've been telling you, these are hand-wound Mojo pickups. Mark over at Mojo hand winds all of these the old-fashioned way, and they never have disappointed. They're just amazing pickups. And in this case, done to Patrick's spec. Moving up from the body, we have a roasted 3A maple neck, which is really phenomenal. It's nitro finished, and again, like a lot of these, there's nitro up here, and there's nitro down here, and in the middle, it's just silky smooth, gun stock oiled, sanded, oiled. Just, these are both done the same way, and the playability is phenomenal. I dig the way he does the headstock on these because it recalls Fender with out being Fender, but also I think sometimes some other builders who kind of try to do that don't deliver. They make it too narrow or something, and I don't find the shape pleasing. I like it in this particular case. It's very cool with his logo on there. Vintage style tuners, and it's medium tall frets with a 12-inch radius on both of these guitars.
Yeah.
So more of a Gibson style radius, and something that a lot of artists would do with Fender guitars over the years, is kind of do that.
Yeah.
That radius to them. But yeah, pretty straightforward guitar, 3-way, volume tone.
I like the reverse control plate. I think that's cool because we see that a lot on custom shop tellies, but just to kind of get the volume knob in the right place for contouring as you play, and then not, maybe you still can, but less of a chance that you'll accidentally knock the pickup selector into a different position.
This is something I'd done on my old telly because it's nice, and you can do Greg Koch stuff without having the hands that Greg Koch has, which is cool.
Yeah.
The heel, so classic shape, but again, this modern carve, this is very visually obvious. This you probably can't tell, but it's kind of softened here to really welcome the hand.
Yeah.
Isn't that just stunning? Even the string ferrules are like
Just a little softer, a little nicer.
Yeah.
And this guy, the 96 vintage, it's going to have a lot of the same kind of stuff, really nice aged Goto hardware. Nice, on both of these vintage style tuners, but they're really smooth tune-up. There's two things that I feel like we notice a lot when it comes to smaller builders, and one of those is the neck feel. These, all the Eggles and that Costadoso that we showed, it's like an immediate thing. It's like the neck is awesome.
Just so
Fretwork is great, and the finish is great. So, but easy to tune up. Like sometimes just guitars straight out of the box, you've seen it if you've gotten a guitar that has not been touched before. Sometimes you get jerky tuners, sometimes you get
the ting.
Yeah, stuff and that's tuners and nut finishing, right?
Keep your nut lubed, folks.
Yeah, you got to lube up that nut. But yeah, so this one, also ash body, correct?
Alder, I think. In this
alder body?
case, yeah.
It's a nice grain for alder.
Yeah.
You can see it. But yeah, so three-tone sunburst, perloid, make it a little more vintage style, which I like. 2 knobs, not 3 knobs, but who cares?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a nice approach because it's just master volume, master tone.
Yeah.
Which 5-way switch.
I think that's a thing that some people like and some people want 2-tone knobs, but this is nice because you can set it in, master volume, master tone. 5-way switch, these pickups are awesome, also Mojo pickups. Rosewood fingerboard on top of another beautiful roasted flame neck, with just the finish that we love, The other thing is, like that one, this one's got the nice heel and kind of contour down here. I kind of view these as, if you love the comfortability of a Fender Ultra, but you do want it a little more vintage style, you don't want noiseless pickups, but you want the contours, you want a comfortable body and a comfortable neck, a little more of a modern radius. It kind of has the things that I like about the Ultras with the things that I like about more vintage style things,
Well, and the other thing on there that I feel, just kind of like the reverse plate on this, is a very player-centric choice. The fact that you've got only 2 knobs and they're spaced apart like they are, I think is also a player-centric choice. If you've ever been performing on stage with a Strat, and what happens a lot in my case, you're singing, and you got to kind of feel, you can move faster in that kind of setup. I also like the side mount input jack versus the top of the body mount that is typical to a Strat style guitar.
Some you don't really notice until you really look at it. Like, we get used to playing so many Strats and Tellys, not a lot of them are nitro finished, but then you look at this, really smooth, really nice feeling, and then just kind of looking at the finish, it's so nice, but it's so thin that you can almost see the grain through it, but not, it's nice. It all feels like it's just the right amount of protection for the actual guitar itself, to give it a glossy sheen without it being like a candy-coated finish, Both of these guitars sound really, really good for what they're supposed to be, and we've seen that with the humbuckers, the Mojo humbuckers, and the Mojotron, and the Staple P90 and that other Macon. It's like the pickups themselves, these are obviously Strat pickups, but they're just so warm and none of that like sometimes tinniness that you get from like a vintage style strap pickup, and same with the telly. They both got so much body to them.
It's everything that you want and nothing you don't.
Yeah, and so if you're, I mean, just like we talked about with the other ones, if you're in the market for a guitar like either one of these, we've seen people that had no idea who, you know, Patrick James Eggle was that have come into the store and played them. It's like, that's a no-brainer. You gotta get them. So let's take a listen.
All right, so there you have it. Great sounding guitars.
So easy to play, dude.
So easy to
Sounds
play.
just jumping out
Like,
of it.
yeah, they just jumps at you. You know, Cooper's playing that through what we typically have, which is just a Blues Junior. There's no pedals. When you have the tube amps set up like just on the edge of breakup,
Yeah.
really responsive guitars with pickups like these are just kind of like chef's kiss. We should talk about, we kind of talked about the playability on these, and they do feel overall like your old worn out t-shirt or jeans,
Yeah.
just super comfortable and at home. But the specs on both of these call out a soft V.
Yeah.
And when we say soft V, if you didn't know that it said soft V, you probably would be forgiven for going not a V-shaped neck.
Yeah. I mean, there was another guitar recently that it was like that I forget what we were talking
Like a
about.
really worn in V.
Which is so nice because it's way more ergonomic for your hand, and that's like the resurgence of the V is on its way, because so many people just pick up guitars and play them in the store and they're like, neck feels great, 60C, and it's like, nope, soft V.
Well, and I feel like there were some V necks for a period of time that really turned everybody off, and these are not that.
The 0028 VS.
I actually like that.
I love that neck, but it's literally
yeah.
That's a hard V. Yeah, these guitars, we've had them in the shop for a little bit, and there's been so many cool things that we've been waiting to finally play them.
Yeah.
But, it's like when you get a boutique builder, somebody like Fender is so beholden to do such a separation between this is our modern offering, this is our vintage offering. But somebody like Eggle can be like, these are the things that I like from the vintage stuff, but let's keep it player-centric because some of the stuff is just not, really not practical,
Right.
and like, yes, a 7/4-inch radius, that's great for some stuff and some people love it, but something like this, it's going to be played by a proficient player, or somebody that's trying to get to that point. So it still makes it super comfortable to get all the way up. Very comfortable neck, great radius for something like this that is not super modern, but it's
Right.
not super vintage either. So there's more that they can play with to make it an all-around great Tele or Strat style guitar without having to be held to like, it is a 96 vintage and an Oz
Right.
vintage, but it's like, there's still modern stuff about these that's really welcome. Yeah.
One of the best things about these guitars, too, is they come just with such care, amazing cases, cool paperwork inside. They're both very lightweight.
Yeah.
Particularly that one. That's an incredibly light guitar, and expensive, but a value relative to what else is out there on the market, because these are boutique build. It's a small shop. It's people, really building these as a labor of love. I love how that is Oz number 31239, handwritten serial number, which is just killer. This one is 9631182. But they're sub $4,000.
Which no Fender custom shop is sub $4,000 anymore. I'm pretty sure to start a build it's $4,400, something like that.
Yeah.
Depending on the model, but there's not going to be any Fender or Gibson or any of those custom shops that are less than $4,000. And these have the individual care that like a Masterbuilt would,
Right.
which a Masterbuilt you're not going to get for less than $8,000.
Right.
It's crazy. So there is something to be said about investing in a smaller builder that can continue to make good stuff like this, and also have the what is it, 9 guys in that shop?
The last time I checked.
Like it's such a small place that every single thing is taken into account. I've never encountered something on one of these guitars that's like, oh, they should have shaved this fret down a little bit more.
Yeah.
No, it's like...
No, everything comes in. It's like they really took their time. They made a great
Yeah.
guitar. Just absolute excellence. So we've got some Eggles in stock right now, fewer than we did a week ago. So if you want more information about these guitars, you should go to our website, which is
alamomusic.com, and look at all the Eggles, because there's more cool stuff coming in, but there's, we had the last Oz that we had in here that was totally different than this, was like one of the fastest to go from the drop of the video. And so I imagine
not even 24 hours.
Yeah, more and more people are gonna catch on to these and find something cool, and that's kind of where I think we want to go, is be able to dig into different smaller builders and factories and just kind of show off how good guitars can be. So
absolutely. So make sure you check out all the specs, and if you have questions, let us know and try to beat me to that guitar. I'm being serious. And if you like our channel, make sure that you subscribe, you turn on notifications, like our videos, keep coming back for more. We'll see you next time.